What's up, YouTube? Welcome to my review of the Dynamic Discs Captain. Big thank you to Dynamic Discs for sponsoring this review. I appreciate their support very much. They've been very generous, hooked me up with a bunch of great plastic to test and review for you guys, so I appreciate it. Go to dynamicdiscs.com for all the DD, Westside, Latitude plastic, all the carts, all the bags, all the accessories. They got it all, so go check it out. Let's get into the review of the Captain. It's an understable distance driver. Here are your flight numbers. 13, 5, -2, and 2. I would say those are pretty spot on for my testing. 173 grams for this particular one. The Lucid plastic is one of my favorite plastic types on the market. It's just really high quality, durable, bright colors, grippy. What more do you need in a golf disc? They really got it right with this plastic blend. It just does everything that you need. Dynamic discs on the bottom. You can see it says Captain as well. I've always liked that, how it's molded in, so you never have to worry about trying to figure out what the disc is, if it has a tournament stamp or the stamp is wiped or anything like that. No problem there. This thing's pretty flat across the top. No real dome to this particular one at all. There's probably some variation there, but I don't see them being super domey based on how flat this one is, but you never know. There could be some variances there. Relatively wide rim for sure, but it's not super sharp. And it's not so wide that you can't get a grab on it. You know, I have big hands, so it doesn't really bother me. I could see maybe people with smaller hands not liking the wide rim feel, but it hasn't ever really been an issue for me. Nothing terribly remarkable to the design of this thing either. As you can see, it's just kind of a wide rim, relatively shallow. Nothing really too distinct about it. Let's put it up next to a couple other options. The Latitude 64 Night, which is so wide, it actually says wide rim straight on the description of the disc, which I think is interesting. A little bit lower profile perhaps, definitely a little bit sharper, and a little bit wider as well. The Night, I'm still testing that one, so not too far off in terms of flight though. Definitely a little faster, maybe a little bit more difficult to throw based on that extra speed. The Lucid X EMAC Trespass, new to the bag. This one in the Lucid X plastic. You'll see it in my next in the bag video, but it definitely has more kind of stiffness to the plastic that adds a lot more stability than your average Lucid Trespass. But overall, the Trespass and the Captain aren't too far off from each other. So if you like the Trespass, the Captain could be a good option for you to check out. It's probably a little bit straighter, a little bit more understable, and a little faster overall. It'll be a little easier to get it to start turning, but it will still come back. Generally, the Trespass is a really solid flyer too, one of my absolute favorites. There you go with that. So yeah, Lucid plastic is great. We love it. The feel is good. Let's talk about the flight of this thing. Definitely high speed, and it definitely has big distance potential. I mean, you can see in some of these flight demos that it really likes to hang up and push down the fairway. It's got a good workable speed that allows for big distance, but it's not so fast that it's really difficult to control either. Works great for a long sweeping hyzer. You can throw it nice and flat and get a relatively straight flight overall with a consistent fade when it slows down. If you get this thing to start moving to the right, either by throwing it hard and flat or giving it a little bit of anhyzer and getting it to start turning over and then sweeping all the way back, you're going to get big distance out of this thing pretty easily for sure. This would be a good option for your average player looking to step up to a little bit faster disc, or maybe a newer player who wants to try out something that's relatively fast, see how it works for you. It's going to be stable for a beginner, or any low arm player is going to find it to be probably pretty overstable if you're not able to throw it very fast. But for your average player, it's a relatively straight distance flyer that's stable enough that you can lay into it without worrying about it flipping over, and it has a strong fade. Big arm players could probably get massive hyzer flips and huge turnovers out of this thing, but it's hard for me to judge that because I don't have a big arm, but that would be my guess, is that it would be somewhat more flippy for a big arm player that could get it into that high speed portion of the flight and see that natural turn come out a little bit more prominently. That's my review on the Captain. Great disc. Big thank you to everybody for watching. Thanks again to Dynamic Discs. I will check you all very soon. Cheers.